Believe it or not, this series isn't over. You may have thought that because of how long it's been in between episodes, and I do apologize for that. But we're back. Let's get the show on the road because we have a lot to do today. Now, the last time that I kind of went into an episode with a grand plan of what I wanted this team to be, we missed the playoffs and that season was a disaster. But I am going to take the chance again. I have a team depth chart in front of me. I went through every team once again to look at all of our possible options, and I'm going to make the team that I feel like gives us the best opportunity moving forward. A mix of win now, but also acquiring certain prospects that could help us moving forward. Now, we only have one contract spot, if that, so buckle up. We have a lot of moves that I don't exactly have planned out either. I just know who I want to acquire. So this video is pretty much just going to be setting this team up, getting this team finalized for the season ahead. And depending on how long this takes, maybe, just maybe, we will end up getting the first month of the season done. Now, the first thing I do need to check, prospect-wise, what are we looking at here as far as our prospects heading into this season? Now, there is a Swedish goalie there. There's two of them right here that we can see on the list. But second to third round, fourth round, third round, moment of truth with Gortz, third round. Janssen is a sixth round, third round, first round, Kelly Larson, fourth round, Jesper Magnusson. Let me go all the way down here. Winehandle, undrafted, fourth round, third round projected, fourth round, undrafted. Okay, so unless some miracle happens, we're not getting the goaltender we need for the future either, which is lovely. Let's start working on these deals, shall we? And the first thing we will do is try to sort out this defense, and that involves a deal with the New York Islanders. They actually have 3 players that we're going to be looking to acquire, one forward and a defenseman, and we'll see if we can get a deal done. The forward is 22-year-old, 82 overall, Nicholas Danielson. We'll be trying to add him, and he may just be playing at the NHL level. The 2 defensemen, thankfully, aren't overly valuable, but should be good enough for what we're looking to do here. We have Lars Sedin, high top 6 defensive potential. And a little bit further down, we find Kalle Helmerson, medium top 4 potential. These are the 3 players I am targeting, and the main reason, as I panic, is I almost dropped my controller. I am so afraid of dropping these controllers, man. 360 controllers, no problem. You know that they're going to survive a fall. Xbox One controllers, I don't dare take the risk. I'm not even going to equate it to anything else, but these things are brittle. Anyway, the reason why I brought up the prospects is we might as well use our draft picks to our advantage. We have 4 first-round picks as it is. So even if one of those, and I mean the amount of seconds as well. So we have all these picks, we might as well use them. And even if somebody good that is eligible for us ends up being selected, we don't really have to worry about it. We will have the tools to make sure that we end up with those particular players. But considering the Islanders have certain spots available, it should be able to do some damage. The first defenseman we're looking at getting rid of here is Lucas Bengtsson. The idea was thrown out there, try to keep OEL happy on the second pairing, as he is obviously a better offensive defenseman than Bengtsson. That's what we're going to try to do. We will try to keep OEL happy, so Lucas Bengtsson is on the way out. And if it doesn't work and we have to trade OEL, I'm fine with that, and we'll just bump Liljegren up to the second pairing. So how close are we as far as that goes? And actually, since they have contract spots, I can dump a lot of different players here, which is the plan. Lundqvist, Hornqvist, and Larson, none of these guys are really a part of the plan. That would put them over the salary cap, though, and that is something I did not notice. So we're not going to be able to use Bengtsson here, unfortunately, but I may just use draft picks to my advantage. Tom Hedberg, unfortunately, is someone that I'm looking to get rid of. He's not a terrible player, but I'm going to be using a different strategy here for the depth down at the AHL level. So we'll have Hedberg, we'll have Lundqvist, Hornqvist, and Larson. None of those guys are a part of the plan. Now, that won't go through, obviously, but if I use, let's say, just to test the waters, my most valuable second-round pick, that would belong to Minnesota. What are they thinking after that? It is not even close, and I didn't mean to take that guy off the list, but that's okay. Let's use our first-round pick. How's that looking? Still not great. Let's use one of the more valuable picks. How about the Bruins pick? How is that looking? Still not great. Damn. What do I want to do here? The Ottawa pick looked about even to the Bruins pick. You know what? Here, let me try to just go one for one. Let me just try to do that. It should be easier. So Hedberg and Danielson, you have to factor in that they don't want to trade Danielson. Let's tack on the Winnipeg third. That should go through. And it did. You know what? I'm okay with that. I probably could have lowered it to like a fourth and a couple of other picks, but you guys already saw the draft picks that I had. I'm not all that concerned. I definitely could have, I guess, cheesed that a little bit better in my favor. But I'm not all that concerned. It would have ended up being like a couple of fourths and a fifth. So it is what it is. So we end up getting him. Now let's focus on the defense. And Lars Sedin is going to be the extremely difficult get here because we can't use Bengtsson to our advantage. Looks like Clefbaum might be the right guy to use here. Is there anybody else that I wanted to use forward-wise? I don't think there was anybody I really planned on getting rid of. Unless we're talking about unsigned guys, but Gustafsson has that much value. Who can we get rid of here? Olvestad? Did I plan on keeping him? I don't remember. I think I planned on getting rid of Olvestad. 22 years old, 82 overall. Maybe not. Maybe not. And again, I can't use the cap space to my advantage. And already I'm seeing a bit of a flaw with my current plan here. But that is okay. So let's see, our third line. Eriksson, Backlund, and Dahlin potentially. Okay, yeah, I figured it out. I figured it out. It's all good. We are going to keep Olvestad. That just means we have to trade someone who I pretty much figured we'd be getting rid of. And you guys will probably be able to figure that out. Sorry for that slight hold-up. Soderstrom. 79 overall, 22 years old. Again, somebody I didn't plan on keeping, but now I am very much tempted just because of how good he actually is. What do I want to do with Soderstrom? It would pretty much be him or Enlund, I think, as far as who we are deciding between. I mean, we have a lot of garbage here that has to go. All right, you know what, here, let me just focus on the defense, and we'll try to get a one-for-one. Clefbaum is on the way out. So we are going to have to use draft picks most likely, although I should be able to take advantage here and just unload some contracts. I'm not keeping Nilstorp or Lundin or Nilsson, for that matter. I'm not keeping any of these guys. So what are we looking at there value-wise? I'd do a 4-for-1 deal. They will not, though. All right, what are we going to have to do draft pick-wise to make this work? We will try to be a bit cheap and use the Minnesota third. That's not going to go through, is it? Nope. All right, so we'll take a look at second-round picks, which is fine. Let's use the Ottawa second. I really don't want to have to use a first here, but I'm probably going to have to. We'll use the most valuable second, the Minnesota pick. That didn't go through, so let's get into the world of first-round picks. And we'll look to use our own, and we will try to pick hoard just a little bit, just to make sure that nothing crazy value-wise is happening. I meant to tack on more picks than that, but you know what? I'm fine with it. We get Lars Sedin. He's better than pretty much anybody that we could really hope to draft. So I am okay with that move. And from the Islanders, we still need to pick up Helmerson, that other defenseman. So again, just to remind myself, we picked up Danielson, we picked up Sedin, we need to get Helmerson. He's not as valuable I might just do a 1-for-1 here, though, because we do need to sign some players, although we do have plenty of forwards. I apologize for talking to myself. So, Lundqvist, Hornqvist, and Larson. These three need to go, and I should be able to get a draft pick back for this as well. That is at least the plan. As we just send all of these meh defensemen to the Islanders. Can we get a third-round pick back for this? No, we cannot. Try to get picks from next season. Let's pick hoard as much as we can, just to see what we have here. See how close we are. Let's take off that 6th. How about a 4th-round pick, or is that too much? Yep, the 4th is still too much. Damn. I might not actually be able to get any picks out of this. Let's try the 5th, 6th, and 7th. To play it safe. Still no. Still no, just the 5th. 3 for 1. There you go. Alright, so as it is, the draft picks I would have gotten in return wouldn't have exactly been worth it. So, is what it is. But not bad. We have those 3 players from the Islanders. Now we need to go take a trip into free agency after clearing up certain spots. For defensemen, we have 3 Swedes that we are looking at here. The first is someone who just signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs in real life. That would be Kalle Rosen. We'll bring him in as a depth player for this season. We also need to get a player by the name of Anderberg and Gunnarsson, and there is Kalle Gunnarsson. We'll bring him in. Again, you'll see what the point of this is in a minute. And actually, Gunnarsson, we won't sign because we can't get him to a 1-year deal. So I need to look for Anderberg and another Swedish defenseman. Urson? Marcus, he has to be. He has to be Swedish. We'll sign him for 1 year. And then we need Anderberg, which honestly, it'll probably be easier finding him this way. At least I hope it would be. And there he is, Alexander Anderberg. We'll sign those 3 guys. He's an entry-level deal guy, but you know what? I'll sign him anyway and just flip him for a 7th. Who gives a shit? Basically, the plan is to not have any... And if you watch the most recent Draft of Glory, it's the same strategy. Basically, instead of having, our prospects as depth players, I'm only going to use the players that we actually have. So basically, I'm treating it as if we're not having injuries on, because there's no point in having a depth player, really, that's actually a signed prospect to you. I'd rather just prioritize the ice time for the prospects that we actually want to use. That is what we are looking at here. Anyway, I'm also going to send the offer to the 3 forwards I was looking at. We need Lindblom, Bengtsson, and Olofsson. Right, so let's see. How long is it going to take to find them? That is the question. There is Oscar Lindblom, who we've had in this series at a different point. We have Anton Bengtsson, in case there was any question as to whether or not he is Swedish. And the last one was Olofsson. He shouldn't be too far away. Hopefully. I say that. Now I'm having to scroll much further than I thought. And there he is, Johan Olofsson. So we'll sign these 3 guys to contracts as well. And again, they will just be our depth players. Rather than having prospects that deserve the ice time but can't get it due to other players we have signed, let's just bring in depth players and try to use them, just in case of injury. So everybody signed. That's good, which means I can go and complete more moves because we are not done. We're not even done on defense. We still have 1 more player to acquire and other players to ship out. We are going to go talk to the Montreal Canadiens, and we're going to look to pick up a player by the name of Silfverberg, 73 overall, 20 years old, medium top 4 potential. We'll look to bring him in. Fortunately, Montreal doesn't really have any contract spots, nor do they have cap space. I don't know if they can take Bengtsson. Let's see. No, they cannot. Well, they might be able to, but we should be able to get this deal done and actually get true fair value for Bengtsson. We're not going to use Havlid. Urson, we did sign purposefully, which is good. We have Rosen and Anderberg. Okay, so just Havlid. that we have to move out. And then for forwards, do we have any other unsigned players I didn't want to use? We have Gustafsson that we're never going to use. Is there anybody else? We can move out Wickman as well. Oh, good. That 3-for-1 would work. Let me just double check with the draft picks. Again, despite it not really being too big of a factor, I'm still going to pick horde whenever I can. It just makes, all the sense in the world to still pick horde. Can we get our 4th round pick back? Nope, that's too much. Too much pick hoarding, they say. How about a 5th, 6th, and a 7th? No, 5th and a 6th. Just a 5th. Straight up. Okay, well, there you go. We at least solved that issue. Let's throw in a 4th round pick from the New York Islanders. What do you say? Apparently that wasn't good enough. How about a 4th round pick from the Ottawa Senators? How does that sound? Still not good enough, they say. All right, 3rd round pick then. We'll give you Ottawa's 3rd round pick. Still not good enough. Montreal, you are... Oh, you are killing me here. How about a 4th? Is that enough? The value bar is definitely in your favor, and there you go. We got that deal done. We'll go best roster for the moment. And as far as defensive acquisitions go, we are good to go. We do have 6 other players, though, I am looking at acquiring. So let's get down to business as we continue to clear out certain people. Although, we do have the big names that we have to get rid of. And the question is, you know what, the first 2 names, if we're being honest here, Elias Peterson and Lucas Bengtsson. Not Elias Peterson, Elias Lindholm, sorry. It's easy to confuse it when you have all the same names. There's no room for Lindholm anymore. He was a bit of a bust of a pick anyway. Where can we send him is the question. Where we don't have to take back or retain any salary cap. So we're at the mercy of these other teams, really. And so far, it's not looking good. Holy shit, can no teams afford him? Oh my god. All right, who's closest to the 81? We had the 83 of Carolina, 83 in Montreal. Oh my god, 83 in St. Louis. All right, well, this could backfire, and we might have to trade somebody else instead, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, so you know what? We'll hold off on trading him. Lucas Bengtsson, though, for sure has to go, and he is a little bit cheaper. Should be a little bit cheaper to get rid of. So Carolina was at 81. Oh my god. This is still going to be an issue. So Carolina, Montreal, or St. Louis are going to be the only options here. Let's go talk to Carolina. See if we can get a deal done. And no, not for Erik Karlsson, although, trust me, I am tempted. 1st round pick? Nope. So it was Carolina, Montreal, or the worst case scenario would be St. Louis. Can Montreal take him? No, they cannot. Let's go talk to the Blues. Please let this work out. 49 contracts. Can they make this work? They cannot. So who was I looking to get a deal done here with? That wasn't English. So for Anaheim, it's just not going to happen. We might actually be stuck with these players. Although, so let's see. Anaheim doesn't have any cap space. Bruins don't have any cap space. Although, well, they kind of do. Let me see if I can find the prospect I was looking at from the Bruins. Your name was Gunderson. There you are, 71 overall, unsigned player. They'd have more than 45 skaters. Right. Buffalo. Can we get a deal done with the Sabres? We're looking for a guy with a pretty badass name. We're looking at Halvardson. And he is under contract. Oh, sweet. We might be able to get this to work. Okay. And we'll send him right back to Buffalo, which I believe is who we acquired him from. So, what are we looking at draft picks this year? They have their first. I'm going to try to get as much as I possibly can from them for this pick. Will that go through? No, it won't. How about the first and the second? I still really want to... How about just well, hold on. We'll try the third. If that doesn't work, we'll pick horde the rest of the way. Will that 3rd round pick work? No, let's take that off. Well, fucking hell. Oh, this menu. Will that work? No, it won't. How about that? No. First in him? Okay, well, I'm going to have to give up a little bit, which is pretty damn crazy if you really think about it, but I want their first round pick, and I'm pretty damn determined to get it. So let's see what we can do here and what we have to give up to make this work. What is it going to take, I do wonder. And it's going to take more than what I offered, apparently. Right. How about Minnesota's third? How do you feel about that? Buffalo. Oh, my God. You're killing me. You are killing me. 2 fourth-round picks as well, just because... Really? Now, this is just extortion at this point. Come on. Come on. We'll throw in the extra 5th. Come on. I hate you. I mean, we're getting this player, and I am damn well determined now to get that pick. I'll give them back their 2nd round pick. Will that work? You have to be kidding me. This is flat out extortion. This should be illegal to demand this much back. And it still didn't go through. Oh my God. I never want to do business with Buffalo again. I will never forgive them for this. It went through, though. It needed to be done. The deal is set. Right. We are still at 50 contracts. We're still doing all right. Pretty much with everything. Our defense is good to go. So forwards, like I mentioned, we still have some things to work out. And whether or not we trade Elias Lindholm, I will wait to find out. We'll see if we can make that work later. Let's talk to the Anaheim Ducks. They have a prospect we want by the name of Oduya. 80 overall, 21 years old. Again, wouldn't have been worth, I think he was taken with a 1st round pick. Is it going to let me see the menu from here? Of course it's not. Let's take a look. Pretty sure he was one of the guys taken in the 1st round. And yes, he was, 15th overall. So not worth the 1st round pick, wasting the value of a 1st round pick to trade for him, but still worth picking him up later on. Do they have any contract spots? They do. Sweet. Well, Winehandle, Soderlund, Steen, you 3 at the very least are out, as is Mahler, for that matter. Yep, you 4 are out. Will that go through? No, it won't, but it was worth a try. And they're all centers, too. So they're not going to be too happy about taking this deal, but I don't care about their happiness. Let's send them our 2nd round pick to complete the deal. Still didn't go through, really. Alright, well, we'll bump up the value because I'm lazy. How about the Winnipeg pick? Come on now, I don't care if you don't want 4 different centers. It's happening. Take the Minnesota 2nd. Shut your faces. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oduya, welcome to the team, buddy. Welcome to the team. Let's go talk to the Bruins about the previously mentioned Gunderson, as we have to pick him up. Again, will this work? By the way, the Bruins drafted Jack Studnicka in this sim. I find that funny. So Gunderson will look to pick him up. Is this master plan of mine going to work? No, but we have to take a risk. The fact is we are pretty much screwed because Robin Lehner wasn't good enough. We are screwed unless a great goaltender from Sweden ends up being involved in the draft. So that is still what we have to hope for. Ekman Larson can go. Hug can go. And then the rest of the names are at least up in the air, but that'll clear pretty much everybody out. So these were the last 2. We can't do that with the Bruins. Buffalo, we already got your guy. How about Calgary? I don't know if Calgary can take those. Florida and Nashville are the other 2 teams we're looking to do business with. Florida, we should be able to get this to work. We're looking for a guy by the name of Omark. We'll see if we can bring him in. Straight 2-for-1 deal? No, we're going to have to give up a little bit more. I mentioned the draft picks for a reason. They are going to come into play. Is 1 4th-rounder enough to get it done? No, it's not, but it's close. So we'll go down the line in the 6th and the 7th. That should do it. Thank you very much. As we acquire Omark, which leaves 3 players, 3 prospects left to acquire, and then I have to work out the final details. So let's go talk to the Bruins about Gunderson one more time, and this time we will actually acquire him. It's funny that they've struggled in this series despite having Connor McDavid. So Gunderson, decent enough value. It's going to take a little bit to actually get this to go through, considering the players we haven't yet given up. 2nd round pick, straight up. Thank you. I'm all right with that. The fact is, 2nd round picks aren't really all that valuable to us anyway. I could have pick ordered, but it looked pretty fair. Calgary, we need a forward prospect from you named Bemstrom. High AHL top 6, so a little bit of a different pick. Not as valuable. Still not terrible, though. And we'll see what we have to get rid of to pick him up. How about our Winnipeg's 3rd round pick next year? That won't go through. So it might be a 2nd round pick to get him. Let's try our 2nd next year. And we will try to tack on a couple of late picks here. Will that go through? No, it won't. Taking off the 7th might help it. Nope, it won't. We'll take off the 6th, re-add the 7th because I am stingy. Can we get that to go through? Yes, we can. Welcome aboard Bemstrom. That leaves 1 player left from the Nashville Predators. From the Predators? The Purds. God, that was the best. It's Arvidsson, not Victor. It's a different Arvidsson. It is one Lars Arvidsson, former 2nd round pick. He is our last target. And then we are pretty much good to go, aside from the fact that we are going to have to trade 1 or 2 more players, but I'm still undecided on who that's going to be, which is not the best strategy. Is the Winnipeg 3rd enough to get that done? Absolutely not. How about the Winnipeg 2nd? Probably. Will that go through? No, it won't. It's close, though. So again, let's use the Calgary 7th that we just acquired. Will that work? Yes, it will. Lars Arvidsson, welcome to the team, buddy. So let's take a look at what we have at the moment and at what we're going to look to do here. And again, as it is, we already have players suffering from morale crises, mainly Eriksson Ek, although he bounced back to an 85. He was an 82 when I started making these trades. So that's promising. But we have Hogberg and Donsk. Of course, our goaltending is set. Defense, we are missing 1 Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But you can see the defense there. Steen, Magnuson, Gertz, Helmerson, with... the other 2 would be Silfverberg and Dockel. I know he's a 59, but he has elite potential. So we're going to look to get these 2 into the lineup. So Rosen, Erson, and Onderberg are just depth players that we'll have to take out of the lineup. And then forwards, we really have to decide here what the hell we want to do. Those 2 for sure get sent down. This was the tough decision for what we want to do here, because we have room for, it would be, what, 27 players? Right, 27 players? So that's the tough decision. So say that's our offense right here, right? For the moment, let's take a look at whether or not this would work, which I don't think it would. So if I go best lines, we would want Davidson on the 2nd line. We would want Luke on the 2nd line. And then you could argue Jonathan Dahlin, but I think I'd rather have Elias Anderson on the 2nd line to see if he keeps getting better. So I think having that as our 2nd line would be pretty damn good. Which means our 3rd line would probably be Dahlin, Eriksson, Ek, and Backlund. Although you could just argue, I mean, that's the thing with Eriksson Ek, though. He's 25. You could argue I should have put him on the 2nd line much sooner, just to see if he got that development. But unfortunately, at this time, that's a missed opportunity. But, I mean, we could keep him. You know, so say we trade Elias Lindholm. We have this as our 3rd line, which would go over pretty well. Or I could even bump, you know, I could swap out Dahlin or, you know, and Elias Anderson if necessary. And then the 4th line, we'd have Elias Peterson, Carl Grundstrom, and then whoever the hell we wanted to call up which would probably be, it would be Gunnarsson, maybe Olvestad, Asplund's 24, and then Danielson. So it would be Danielson that gets called up, which is fine. So it would be... So I think, yeah, I think Elias Lindholm is pretty much screwed. Here's the thing. The only way Elias Lindholm stays, if it wants to bring me back to edit lines, which it did, the only way that Elias Lindholm stays is if we have him on the second line center spot, which would be great, but then either Backlund or Eriksson Ek has to go, which you could argue Backlund, especially because he's 33, but as a shutdown player, he wouldn't be bad. Some people have argued trying to keep him on the fourth line. I remember some people saying try to keep him on the fourth line with the PK time to see if he's happy. We could do that. We could do that and have him with Elias Peterson and Carl Grundstrom. You know, it might be worth just going with that and hoping for the best. And that would be a pretty solid lineup. It's just a matter of whether or not certain players would be happy with it. So you know what? Maybe that is worth a go. Maybe that is worth a go. And we would have... Who has the better shot? Peterson and Grundstrom just flat out don't shoot the puck. But Backlund's the best center. Who's the best center out of these guys? That would be Jonathan Dahlin face-off wise. Alright. I'm actually going to put Dahlin over here, Elias Anderson there. We'll put Eriksson Ek just because he's better defensively. So centers were good. Alright, and then defense. I'm thinking of keeping Hampus Lindholm just because he's a better all-around player. So then we have Dahlin with Ekman Larsson, Bronstrom, and Liljegren. So the question is, can we keep Ekman Larsson happy? Can we keep Backlund happy? Those are the two main questions heading into this season. So for the moment, Elias Lindholm lives to see another day. And there was still the big question, do I go back and acquire Victor Hedman? I'm going to see how Lindholm does, but yeah, that's still looming over his head. His spot here definitely isn't safe. So left-handed shots. Here, I didn't even think of the power play lines. Shit. So Anderson, Dahlin are both lefties. Eriksson Ek is also a lefty. So we have Dahlin. Let's get Elias Anderson some power play time. I could change the player positions as well. I will probably do that later. So let's get Dahlin on the top line. Let's have Nylander with Lindholm and Anderson. So that's looking good. Ekman Larsson on the top power play unit. We'll put him there with Klingberg and then have Lindholm with Dahlin. Actually, if I take out Hampus Lindholm for Liljegren, we'll see if that helps out the progression. We'll have Dahlin there. So, I mean, you look at our power play units, it's pretty damn crazy. Pretty damn crazy. And then the PK, of course, you have Backlund by default. You know what? Yeah, we'll keep the team together to see what happens. And then down in the AHL, again, the goaltending is set with Per Nylander as the starter. Defensively, I do have to make a couple of changes. We have to take out Ersson in favor of Silfverberg. And Kalle Rosen is out in favor of the 59 overall Dockel, which is pretty crazy. Now, do we have any AHL top 2 defensemen? We do not. So going off of value, let's go with Sedin because he's got the high potential. We'll go with Dockel and then Matt Gortz, and then, yeah, it's looking all right. That is looking all right. You could argue having Dockel and Silfverberg as the second pairing, but I do want them to get a bit more ice time. So the defense is looking good. And then offensively, we need to take out Lindblom because he's not a part of the plan. Enlund. Oh boy. All right, so Bemstrom definitely needs to come in. We're going to have to figure this out. Anton Bankston is out. We'll put in Enlund for the moment. Again, we have more people here than we originally planned. We'll bring in Halverson. Which means at the moment, Kim Soderstrom is going to, or Christian Soderstrom, I should say, is going to stay. So who gets scratched? Enlund's medium top 9. Rensfeld's medium top 9. But he's an 80 overall. Olvestad's medium bottom 6, but he's an 82. So Matthias Enlund will be scratched here. So he's kind of the victim of this. To make sure that we can get Olmark, but Olmark's also medium top 9. So maybe, yeah, Olmark, I guess, is the unfortunate victim here. And offensively, we'll just go for the best lines. Well, actually, do we want to go best lines? Or do we want to go potential? No, we should probably just go potential again. So all of you medium top 6 guys, please move to the front of the class. Your medium top 6. Boqvist is 6. Asplund, though, is 24 years old. Boqvist is 23. So let's see. We'll put the high AHL guys on the second line in their favor. And then from there we are pretty much good to go with the best overall players. Let's put Boqvist up there. And let's figure this out. So this team is going to be pretty damn good. I'd like to think that this team will compete heading into this season, but you never know. It could be disappointing. Soderstrom or Oduya. It would be Oduya. Actually, hold on. Medium top 6. 22, 20, 19. We have 21. I do want Danielson, though, on that top line. Let's drop Halvardsson out of there. Yeah, let's drop Halvardsson out of there. Can he play center? 71. We'll swap him in Soderstrom. And then Oduya or Arvidsson. It would be Oduya. All right, so there we go. Man, the lines are finally set. That took a little bit longer than I thought. Again, we have the depth players and some AHL guys already under contract. But the victim at the moment is Mats Olmark, who should be getting ice time, but currently is not. But it's all right having one medium top 9 guy just sitting there as opposed to 5 of them not getting ice time. So we shall see what happens. Let's go ahead and sim a month into the season and just get an early indication mainly from Ekman Larsson and Michael Backlund, however the hell you pronounce his name, as far as their happiness on the team. But 96, 96, and 87. Goaltending will be a question, but goaltending was a question even when we still had Robin Lehner. So, again, I'm not all that concerned as far as that goes. Auto-rotate goalie should be on, so we should be free and clear to sim the first month of this season. And we will see what this team is capable of as far as any other changes, like maybe position types or the player types and the position. Stuff like that. I'll do that off screen because I've already wasted way too much time essentially playing Menu Simulator. I apologize for that. Let's see, though. What will we be capable of this season? The last time I did something like this, it went horrifically. I still feel all right about trading Lehner. And to be honest, I like the team the way it is. I didn't plan on keeping Elias Lindholm. I keep making that mistake. Didn't plan on keeping him. The defense is exactly what I wanted on both the NHL and the AHL level. So I'm confident with that. Like I said, the big question is, will OEL stay happy? If he's not, Liljegren gets bumped up, and then I believe it's Magnuson is our best right-handed defenseman. He'll get bumped up despite being about a 78 overall. So we shall see. It's just a matter of waiting it out to see what happens. But man, I am not excited for our prospect pool again this season. Odds are we'll do what I've been doing and just trade down. And I mean, at this point, I could make the picks and then just trade them. Like it's tough. Stefan Dockel goes down, or Dakel goes down to injury, which is a bit unfortunate. I actually wanted to see how well he was progressing. We will have to wait. We'll take him out of the lineup in favor of who is the question, and that would be Kalle Rosen, which is fine, and we'll bump Gortz up. Yeah, it'd be Magnuson that would be called up. So really quickly, how's Backlund doing so far? Not complaining, so that's good. OEL, how are you? Not complaining so far. Good. It probably helps that we're winning. But, alright. I'm feeling okay. And it's funny, Rasmus Dahlin has actually had the more offensive output so far from that pairing, despite OEL having that power play time as well. So far, so good. We finally lose a game in regulation. We had an 8-game point streak to start this year. 1 regulation loss. That was in our last game against Minnesota. But so far, so good. It's still way too early to tell. Just 9 games into the season. But like I've mentioned, I like the way this team is set up. It's just, will we hear complaints from certain players? Morale-wise, we seem to bounce back despite me getting rid of more people. Philip Forsberg's off to a great start with 10 points this far. The Nylanders still doing relatively well. Marcus Davidson with 6 points on that top line. 5 for Elias and 2 for Jens Luke Low-Key. Call him what you will. The third line, Elias Anderson doing well. 3 points for Eriksson Ek, which is kind of mad. But Jonathan Dahlin is doing incredibly well. And again, we have options. You know, we still could get rid of Elias Lindholm and call up Dahlin or Elias Anderson. Hell, you could argue that, you know, Low-Key, despite being a second-line guy, isn't really fit for that role. He's more of a third-line guy. He's been a hero for us in the past. But we could get rid of both of them and do something like this. I don't know. That's the great thing about this team right now. We have options, and I like options. On the fourth line, Grundstrom, 4 assists, 3 points for Backlund. He hasn't complained yet. 5 points for Elias Peterson, but it was key to get him into the lineup this year. And we'll see if he or Grundstrom jumps up as far as player role goes. That could be a big-time curveball as you get a look at some of the point totals. Bronnstrom doing pretty damn well so far. The goaltending, Marcus Hogberg and Oscar Dansk, both at 86 overall. Hogberg, thank you so much. 931 save percentage. Dansk has only played 1 game. He did terribly. But so far, Marcus Hogberg playing like the goalie I thought he would be when we originally tried to hand him the reins. And then Nicholas Danielson. If we trade somebody at the NHL level, Danielson's the first call-up, and I can't wait to see what he can potentially do. So, guys, this series is back. The team has changed it again, but as I've said, I like the way things are shaped up right now. Let me know what you think of the moves and what success you think we might have this season, or lack thereof. Are we off to a fluke of a start? Is this not built to last? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But that will do it for this episode of A Nation United. In the next episode, we sim through the rest of the season unless something has to happen on trade deadline day. So guys, if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a like to help support the channel. It is always greatly appreciated. And to make sure that you never miss a video, there's a number of things you can do. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the notification squad if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, at Toogie24, for updates, notifications, giveaways, and other random stuff. And one of the new things, to be alerted as to when I am on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Toogie24. Following me on Twitter is also very beneficial. Guys, I am running out of steam. This is the 3rd episode of not of this series, but I have recorded 3 straight videos. I am dead tired. I want to go to bed. Thank you for watching. I'm going to edit this and then go to bed. So I'll catch you later.